Vikings guy here. Welcome to the podcast and the video podcast. I have my friend Dustin, that Vikings fan, on the X. Explain where you can be found and just who you are.
Yeah, so those of you that don't know me, my name is Dustin, or that Vikings fan on TikTok. I'm also on Twitter, Dust_Vikings. That's where you'll actually find training camp videos from me. But
Yeah.
I mostly do TikTok stuff related around the Minnesota Vikings, topics, training camp videos, just everything around the Minnesota Vikings. So
Yeah.
pretty popular guy over on TikTok. So if you guys haven't followed yet on there, make sure you guys go do that. And then on Twitter as well. So yeah, big Vikings fan, obviously.
Yeah. Well, and I'm used to calling everybody Viking guy, but I guess there is only one Viking guy, I suppose, right?
Yeah, right.
I guess
Vikings
so.
fan and then Vikings guy.
That's it. That's it. Well, you've been a good friend to me. We've gotten to know each other over the last, I guess, season or so. And
Hmm.
I love your stuff. I love your stuff, especially if you don't get a chance. Check him out on X. He's real good over there. Players interact with you, it seems like, regularly. You'll shout out to them. Tell them a little bit about the Josh Metellus action you had going on.
Yeah, so a couple days ago, is the day of Josh Metellis's contract extension, which I
Hmm.
thought, is really cool. Vikings fans should love this. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, I'll just kind of put a tweet out there, shot in the dark, just, hey, Josh, if I buy your jersey, what are the chances I can get that signed by you? And a couple hours rolled around. The tweet only had a couple likes at the time. It was just kind
Yeah.
of a shitpost tweet at the time. But later that night, Josh Metellus did reply.
Yeah.
He replied with a 100%, and so as you guys know, that means for sure. So I just got to find a good time and place for him to go sign that, and I do have the jersey ready. So
Very
whenever
good.
Josh is ready, if he listens to this, I am ready for you to sign that jersey.
I love it, man. Thank you for sharing that. I just thought that was kind of cool. It's hard enough with what we try to do here, and you're taking it very seriously and doing a great job. Things like spending your entire life now out at training camp. That's part of the reason I think this is timely too, is that you've been to training camp. If you could just give me three things that stand out to you right now on the days that you've been to training camp, just for the Vikings. What are three things that you think about that this is what I've seen and this is what we should look for?
Well, I think first and foremost, this defense. It's if we thought last year was really good, I think this year it's going to be even better. The upgrades to the defensive line are going to help. Jonathan Allen is you've seen my videos where
Yeah.
Jonathan Allen is pushing Walter Rouse into the quarterback. Javon Hargrave is pushing our starting center Ryan Kelly into the quarterback for a sack. So the defensive line is ferocious. They are hungry. They're going to get to the quarterback this season. And
Right.
I made a cameo in the Vikings video earlier this week that my bold prediction for the Vikings was that they're going to be top three in sacks this season. And I think it's pretty likely that they're going to end up doing that, if not number one. So
Right.
besides that, I mean, the defense, outside of the defensive line, the corners have been playing really good, keeping up with the receivers, almost running the routes for them. Safeties have looked pretty good too. Going to the offense, it's coming along. It's coming along.
Right.
The offensive line here and there, you can do only so much when you don't have Darisaw for half of it, Will Fries for half of it. So once you get that entire offensive line, get live reps, I think it'll
Right.
look really, really good. JJ McCarthy, this is his rookie season technically, so he's kind of been on and off. Red zone kind of struggled there the other day. Came back yesterday, or by the time you guys see this, a couple days ago, just a little better. Let's see, running backs look really good. Jordan Mason looks good. Aaron Jones still pretty fast, pretty good hands. Wide receivers. One thing that I have noticed about the wide receivers is you have Jefferson, Addison, and then there is a huge drop off to the next guys down the line, and that
Right.
includes Jalen Naylor, Rondell Moore. Starting with Jalen Naylor, Speedy, he's good. I think he has trouble tracking the ball, and that's why he cannot catch the ball half the time. And that will be a common theme throughout camp this year is our guys cannot hang on to the ball with these easy slant, toss
Right.
passes, whatever you want to call them, just 5 yards out in front of you. So Typhon, I mean, he's kind of on and off, questionable hands again. Rondell Moore, just kind of a guy out there. So outside of that, I mean, that's kind of what I've noticed throughout camp
Yeah.
so far. Hopefully we can get some better days. starting tomorrow, and then Saturday, and then Monday night practice as well.
Do you think that there's a chance with and this is kind of a side note, we'll go back because I have other questions about what you just said. Do you think there's a chance the Vikings move the Saturday practice indoors because of the
Um,
smoke?
I mean, the smoke was, I won't say pretty bad, but it was definitely, it was there on, what
Yeah.
was it, Wednesday. So if it gets any worse, I could see them definitely moving that inside. Hopefully they don't, because me and my friend already have a ticket and we were planning on going. But, for the
Yeah.
safety of the fans and the players, might as well move that inside if it gets any worse. But
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully it doesn't. It's been beautiful out these past couple of days, so
Yeah.
not too hot.
For those of you that are watching or listening, we in Minnesota have been suffering most of this summer and last with Canadian wildfire smoke. They just have
Uh,
a few fires in Manitoba, British Columbia that they can't just seem to get, for whatever reason, can't seem to get it put out. Sounds like they had some arson issues. That's neither here nor there, but people setting fires in Canada, and for whatever reason they can't get it out. And that's just an interesting point. I was thinking of maybe going up Saturday, and I'm like, well, I'd hate to drive all that way, and they'll go, sorry, folks. So I'm interested kind of watching that. I know it's kind of been a non-issue at this point, but something to think about too in your travels there. Now, going back, you were talking about Jordan Mason. I was at training camp on Thursday. They had I don't know, it was not really open to the public, but they had practice, and the
mhm.
employees of the stadium were allowed in there. And Jordan Mason, that guy is a brick shit house.
Can you believe it?
I mean,
It's crazy. He's like a miniature Derrick Henry, basically.
yeah, he's huge. He's really big. I mean, he is a thick guy. I mean, he is.
Mhm.
I don't know how much he weighs, but he is all of that. He is all
Oh
of that.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
And he has pretty decent hands too. He hasn't caught a ton of balls in college and with the Niners, but
right.
throughout camp so far, I mean, I've seen him catch plenty of balls. I don't think I've seen a drop personally. He might have dropped maybe one or two, but I personally haven't remembered seeing any drops from Jordan Mason.
Yeah, and going back to the wide receivers, Jalen Naylor is he's a KOC guy. KOC
Yep.
really loves him on the team, has had a lot of faith in him through the injuries, through some of his mishaps. I don't think there's a chance. There's no chance really that he doesn't make the team. But when you get past Naylor, is there a chance Rondale Moore gets cut?
I've seen some people making roster predictions of the 53-man roster. That's
Yeah.
that's still a month away almost. So I don't know. I'm a big Rondell Moore guy. I like him. I think once he gets more comfortable in this system, I think more of a role. If Addison does get suspended those first couple games, you might as well keep him on the roster. He is a valuable
Yeah.
asset. He's got the speed, good hands, runs some good routes. So if he can just stay healthy, I think he'll be a very good asset to this team. I think Ty Felton. So if I had to do the depth chart right now, I'd probably go Jefferson, Addison, Speedy, and then Rondell Moore, and then probably Ty Felton, just because
Yeah.
obviously he's a rookie, he's not quite ready yet. But yeah, I'm a big Rondell Moore guy. Hopefully he can get under his feet a little more and kind of learn
Right.
the system and get more involved.
One thing I noticed in camp is Rondale Moore doing some special teams, and I wonder
Hmm.
if it comes down to him or Silas Bolden. The Silas Bolden, who unproven but cheaper, and if they keep Rondale Moore on the roster week one, they have to pay him. They guarantee his salary, which isn't much. I think they paid him a very small signing bonus. But
Yeah.
with the pass that Rondale Moore has had, I have a lot of hopes for him. I hope he can make it. I'm kind of pulling for him.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a big Rondell Moore guy. I like him. I think he makes it more of a wide receiver at this point. If Silas Bolden can win that kick return job, so
Right.
be it. That's awesome. Because Silas Bolden, he's also a wide receiver, so that wide receiver room would get pretty full pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, that leaves empty roster spots everywhere else. So you kind of have to be strategic in that. Maybe Rondell Moore is a surprise cut. So we'll have to
Yeah.
see.
Interesting. I've been watching that pretty closely, and like I said, I follow your stuff because I'm like, okay, this is what's going on at camp, and I love that. Yeah, I mean, your videos are good, and the PA made a comment the other day. He goes, I don't know if they're supposed to be taking videos at practice. The team doesn't really want that, but the stuff you're showing is regular routes, things that I don't think that KOC's pulling out the barrel of monkeys for everyone to see. And so it's interesting. The videos you take, I mean, you really are good at explaining, like, okay, yeah, the guy dropped the pass, but was this defender hit it or whatever? Jeff Okudah, what do you think of him? Let's go to that. Jeff Okudah, the oft misaligned, I guess you could say, player for Detroit and ex Xtal, a lot of teams, I guess.
Yeah, with Jeff Okuda, he's been, I think, surprising a lot of people throughout camp. You
Yeah,
can see that third overall pick value in him with the Vikings. I mean, he's been taking starting reps with the Vikings on that first team
yeah,
defense. So, with every corner in the league, you're going to have good reps, you're going to have bad reps, you're going to get cooked, you're going to have sticky coverage. It's all over the board. So, I think Jeff Okuda, I think he makes the roster. He could be more of a special teams guy too, gunner,
yeah,
whatever it is. But I think more of a cornerback right now in that rotation. I think we got a good cornerback room. Byron Murphy looks really good. Well, his first year here, I wasn't a huge fan of Byron Murphy. I was just like, okay, he's just kind of a guy right now.
yeah.
Second year, last year, I'm like, okay, he's made a big step forward. You can pay that man. This year, just in training camp alone, small sample size, looks pretty darn good. So
Yeah.
pretty locked down as you can get, But Isaiah Rogers hasn't practiced much outside of that soreness that he's had. Couple reps yesterday, but
Right.
Mekhi Blackman kind of working with the twos mixed in with the ones a little bit. But Jeff Okuda still looking pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't think he's completely off the board yet. And Brian Flores, if you're gonna thrive in a system and kind of return to your old self, I think it's gonna be with Brian Flores.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think? And this may be kind of goofy, but behind the scenes, after these practices are a little rough for the offense, which is pretty normal in training camp, do you think there's a time where KOC puts Brian Flores in a little headlock and says, buddy, can you just let us practice for a couple days? Do you have to send that monster Hargraves or Allen over the middle all the time? I mean, there's got to be maybe not a headlock, but don't you think there's like, hey, you know what? You don't have to not play defense, but you don't have to get crazy because we're trying to learn here. Do you think there's some of that maybe?
I think there's a little bit of that, but I also have a feeling that KOC wants Flores to be aggressive like that for JJ to learn.
Yeah,
I feel like the best way to learn is to kind of start hard. You don't necessarily have to start easy all the time. I
right,
feel like you're in the NFL. You're in the hardest job possible. No more college, no more high school. NFL's the hardest is you're gonna get. Every week is a challenge, and why not start your challenge with a Brian Flores defense? You can
sure,
only get better from that. You're gonna play the Bears week one, the Falcons. Still pretty decent defenses those first couple weeks, and then you get to the Bengals, which can you even name three players on that defense? I mean, you'd really have to think about it. But
right,
outside of that, I mean, JJ, I think he'll be just fine. I think kind of turning up the notch a little bit will help him. I mean, some days you can turn it down a little bit. Some days you can crank it up and blitz all the time. See how JJ handles the pressure and the reads and just mechanically wise too.
right.
I think it's good for JJ.
One of the things that I've noted in camp is just, you hear so much stuff from reporters and fans that go there. I don't listen to all of it, but one thing that keeps coming up to me is I'm going to call it a kicking issue with Will Reichert. And, the one day they said, well, he was 5 of 6 one day, and then he was like 5 of 6 the next day, right? So he'd missed two.
Mm-hmm.
You've been to Egan. Is it ever not windy there? I mean, the wind is weird. It's shaped. It's down into a bowl. And I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
make excuses for Will, but do you feel that he's uneven? That he's been worse?
I feel like, well, we'll start off with the wind. I think actually the wind would be nice, especially for the fans out there because we've had like little to no wind
Oh,
out
that's
there.
weird. Yeah,
The days that we've been there, especially when it's super hot. But I think I think no kicker is really automatic nowadays. I mean, look at Justin Tucker, fell off huge last year. So if that's kind of the measuring stick we're going off of, especially from last year, I mean, there's better kickers than Justin Tucker last year. So if Will Riker can be anywhere from 90, 95, whatever percent, that top 10%, I think
yeah,
he'll be just fine. You know, whether you miss extra points, I think that's kind of lesser than a field goal, obviously, because it's worth less points than a field goal.
sure.
But
Yeah,
I don't know. Until we get into live game reps and situations, let's see how Will Riker starts the season. I mean, we're going into Chicago week 1. You know, that's not a great playing surface. We all know that.
Yeah.
And then we go into week 2, closed indoors in Minnesota. So
Sure.
they, we'll just have to see how Will Reichard bounces back in his sophomore season, and yeah, see what Matt Daniels can work some magic with him.
Yeah. So you still believe in him? Not
I
time to
think
cut him yet?
I haven't given up on him quite yet.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You know, in this, the thing about it is he's still got the leg, and you'd mentioned Justin Tucker. So maybe the key is during the season, less massages. Is that maybe
Yeah,
the less?
you
Is
would
that
hope
the
so.
ticket?
You know what's funny is I don't know if you saw this too, but I saw that the Ravens are open to a Justin Tucker reunion. I
What?
don't know where I saw that, but I'm like, why would they do that? Why would they
Yeah.
do that? I don't think any team wants him right now.
Yeah. I mean, he's sort of a hot potato right now, covered in lava.
Yeah.
Because just, you know, the same thing with that Deshaun Watson. I don't waste a lot of time talking about this sort of off-field stuff, but I'll say this. You know, if someone accuses you of something once, you go, well, you know, they're famous and they have money and everyone knows who they are. Someone might be saying something to get some money. When 28 women say, hey, the guy likes his massages down and dirty, uh, bad rulish, then you start, you know, after the 14th person, I'm like, well, Justin,
Uh,
maybe Deshaun, you know, maybe things are going sideways for you. And, you know,
yeah,
I don't
just
want
a
to
little
make a
bit.
determination of anyone's guilt or whatever, but it says a lot that they would cut the greatest kicker in essence of all time statistically. So there's, you know, there's probably some fire
Hmm.
there, and you know, I'm happy that they have Reichert, and he's a young guy. I think he got the, you know, I think he tried to kick through an injury last year, and I think it cost him.
Yeah.
And you know, his accuracy wasn't the same. And you know, those guys, most of them are head cases, and O'Connell's way better than Zimmer was. I mean, Zimmer, I thought Blair Walsh would have to go in the witness protection program. I mean, he was nasty to Blair Walsh until they
Oh
got
my
rid of
God.
him. Daniel Carlson, who's now statistically one of the best kickers in the NFL. I mean, he just destroyed kickers.
Hmm.
You know, and I
Could you
get the
could you
Blair
imagine
Walsh
being a
thing.
fly on the wall for that?
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, I get the Blair Walsh thing. Like the look on Zimmer's face, like, man, this is my career, and you
Yeah.
just missed a 29-yarder in terrible conditions, but very little wind. I mean, it was just, mm.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
so are you going to the night practices?
Yes, I will be there every single day of
Yeah.
camp.
Yeah. So, the night practices. What's your expectation for night practice? What do you go for?
Well, first of all, I think I hope and I know that JJ will play this time. I think that's what all fans were expecting last time. I think that's what kind of caused the big show out too. So I hope JJ plays. You know, hopefully nothing happens. I mean, that was all that night practice. If you guys remember too, was canceled due to rain, so it had to be after that first preseason game, and then
Right.
that's why JJ didn't play because of the injury stuff like that. But um, I think usually for the night practice, I think they do pads. I'm pretty sure, you know, full pads. So
Yeah.
I think it should be a fun showing for, you know, everybody showing up. It you know, hopefully we get a couple deep balls. There usually is. I feel like every night practice I've been to, they air the ball out pretty deep, uh, for most of the plays. So they put on a good show. You know, fireworks
Yeah.
at the end of the night too, metaphorically and literally. So
Yeah.
yeah, I always love night practice. I wish they would do more of that, and I also wish they held more scrimmage practices at U.S. Bank Stadium. I really like that, and I think it was 2021.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're
Is
fun.
I don't want to give the Packers any credit, but that family night thing they do is pretty
Hmm.
cool.
I've been to
As
a
a
couple of them.
non-Packer fan, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of those when I was younger, not always wear my Viking stuff, just out of
Yeah.
spite. So
Well, it's like they try to like indoctrinate you into you must believe that this is the greatest thing that ever happened to football, and it's like, yeah, you know, I have a
yeah,
friend who is from Philly and he's going to Green Bay the first time and he's nervous. I said, dude, you're from Philly. You don't have to be nervous. I mean, I went there last year for a non-Vikings game after I got back from London. It was Arizona Green Bay, and I sort of was intending on making video on TikTok that was sort of like, hey, these are redneck rubes and, you know, make fun of them or whatever. Well, then I'm there
yeah.
for 5 minutes and they've offered me 3 shots and 4 bratwursts. And I'm like, listen, I can't do that to anybody. I'm not that nasty. They've been very nice to me every
You
time
wear
I've
your
been there.
Viking stuff?
Oh yeah, and
Okay.
annoyingly so. I mean, they knew who I
Yeah.
was. Well, okay, the Cardinals game I didn't because my brother had tickets.
Oh.
He's friends of somebody with Packers or something. I don't know, but he
Yeah.
says you can't wear your Viking stuff. But I did tell them through halfway through, hey, I'm a Vikings fan. They're, oh, we're not playing you today, and
Yeah.
and they
The
said,
whole
and
nine
it'll never,
yards.
they never forget Sam Darnold. He goes, you'll see what Sam Darnold is. This old guy says, and I said, oh yeah,
Yeah.
sure
Sure.
we will. Yeah. Yeah, my son, my youngest son, he's 9, and he said, "Dad," he said, Sam Darnold was good until he wasn't."
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's they know best. I think young kids. I think they're very. They tell the truth so often, and
yeah,
they know what they're talking about. They see it. They speak it. You know, it is what it is. That's how they speak.
yeah. I mean, part of me hates that because my daughter is so much more. When I was a kid, we never really went to games because I'm
Hmm.
2.5 hours from the stadium. My dad, I don't want to give those millionaires any money, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
which the Wilfs, I have no problem supporting the Wilfs because they give a hell of a lot back to the community. That were you ever in Mankato? Did you go to training camp in Cato?
I went to Mankato one year,
Yeah,
2016. That was the last year that they were there. I
yeah.
loved it too.
I that's where we went as a kid because I did do that, and I will say, interestingly enough, like I'm happy about TCO performance because it gives the Vikings an edge, and you can see in the players that they brought in, and just the overall ability to train, get the care that they need, the rehab. But there was nothing like Mankato sitting across from the dorm. The players had to cross over the road, and it
Hmm.
was autograph galore, right? I mean, it was you meeting your people. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And so I missed that, but I get the TCO thing. I mean, when every time I walk, I've been in the building at TCO,
Hmm.
and every time I'm in that place, I'm thoroughly impressed by what they do. I mean, what are your impressions when you walk into the practice area and just see what they do?
So I like you said, I love TCO. I think it's state of the art,
Yeah,
for the time that it was built to back in what 2016, 2017. It's state of the art, and there will be nothing like it. I mean, other teams will try to replicate that, but you can
right,
only do so much to, look like the Vikings. But
right.
to kind of compare and contrast to Mankato, it's not as fan friendly as Mankato is
Yeah,
or was. So back in Mankato, you had that little fence that separated the fans and the players. You could reach out, basically touch the players. They would
yeah,
sign stuff for you, everything. At TCO, there's security guards. There's fences, but there's security guards. They tell you to back off, get away from the fences, basically stay
yeah,
away from the animals at the zoo, if you want to call it that.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
I don't know. I wish it was a little more family friendly. I mean, they have those autograph lines for the kids afterwards, but I just kind of wish it was more interactive. And I don't know. I would like to get a tour inside that building, though. I think
yeah.
that would look pretty cool. From all the videos I've seen, state of the art inside, too.
Yeah. No, it's unbelievable. I've been in there 6 or 7 times. We had a tour. They had a family. We had a flag football like thing for the kids where I could bring my kids in and they could play on the practice field, throw the ball
Hmm.
around, kick field goals, whatever. And then the adults got a tour of the place. And I've been around the place. I'll never forget. I went in there once for they were talking about the food at the stadium. They had the kind of like a employee work session or whatever it is. And I'm in this facility and it's huge. And everybody just left me afterwards. I was talking to the caterer. They had steak and chicken. I said, "What are you gonna do with that steak
Ooh.
and chicken?" Oh, lots of it. And they're not using garbage food. And the
Yeah,
guy says,
no.
"Well, we can't sell it, so we're just gonna throw it away like steak." And I said, "You got
What?
any?" Yeah, exactly. Because Minnesota's food. Trust me, I'm in the food business. The food codes are wild. Like a lot of restaurants, they can't donate it to food shelf. You just got to throw it away. So, anyways, I said to the guy, "Go.
Yes.
Do you have any to goes?" With this catering company, he said, "Yeah, I can go." I go, "How many you need?" I said, "How about 15?" So here I am. Everybody leaves me there. The people that brought me there. I'm walking through TCO with 2 big brown giant paper bags full of food, salads and desserts, and I'm lost. Like I don't know how to get out of this place. And I sort of just wandered
It's
around
a
until I
maze.
found something. Yeah. I mean, here's Bud Grant's office. Here's Coach O'Connell's office. Here's the Wilfs. I'm walking by all these because I didn't know where I was going. So it is
Hmm.
it is a really cool place, and I think what's neat too, to toot my own horn, is there's not a lot of regular people who've had access to it, and
Yeah.
so just to be in the place, I'm blessed. I mean, to play on that practice field, to kick field goals, throw balls with my kids, and I'm kind of excited this year for the season for lots of reasons. But 2 of my children are going to work at US Bank Stadium now with me.
Ooh. Hey,
Yeah,
there you go. That'll be really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, so I was trying to find a way to afford to go to the Christmas game this year. I said, listen, if my other older son gets, if he gets a job there, then those tickets are taken care of. They can just work.
There
I'll
you
take the day
go.
off and take my little kids. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you're right though about TCO. You know, we went out there the other day for that employee thing, and they were going to have my family bang the drum for the school
Ooh,
chant.
okay.
Yeah, and then some dingus ran out of the field or something. They had a security
Oh,
problem. And so the Vikings are like, "Hey, sorry, we can't have you do that. They're not going to let do. They're not going to let us do the drum today." And so we were all sort of bummed out, you know, like that's too
yeah.
bad. Nervous because they were going to put me on the drums, you know, and I was like,
Uh huh.
"I'm going to blow this. I know I'm going to screw up the beat." I mean, it's easy, right? Boo, boo, like
Yeah, you think
faster.
it's easy, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You get there and you're like, okay, well, I got 4,000 people looking at me, and now what do I do? Well, anyways,
Yep.
so the lady from the Vikings, a friend, she comes over and says, well, we can't have you on there, but we do have a package of goodies. So I got like 3 or 4 autograph pictures, a couple hats, this one here for free. And
Ooh.
then she said, I talked to one of my higher ups, and they're going to let you watch practice down on the cement in front of the stands for 20 minutes. So me and my
Okay.
kids sat down. Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it was just, but again, we weren't anywhere. We were close, but not close, close. We weren't on top of them,
Yeah. No.
you
No.
know, but it
But
was,
it's something.
yeah. But you're right. I mean, I wish there was, you know, the whole autograph thing. I know there's some people that take advantage of that thing or whatever, but I wish there was more access to that. You know, I think ultimately, too, people would like to see some of the players. I think
Yeah.
that they would like that, and it's just hard for them because they don't get to do that now.
Yeah. I mean, the real chance that you get is staying after practice. You know, once 4:30 hits or whenever practice is done, you wait 10, 15, 20 minutes for everybody to kind of get off the field, and then the players that do stick around, you know, they'll come around. Like JJ McCarthy last year, he came around, signed every single kid and adult's
Unbelievable.
autographs.
Yeah.
And I got my hat signed by JJ McCarthy, so that was really cool. Got a selfie with him, everything. So it's kind of worth sticking around for a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's your real chance, really, to get an autograph or anything.
Yeah. So are you eating there every day? Having some concession?
I eat lunch right before I get there, so
Yeah.
I mean, not that their food's bad. I just eat right
Yeah.
before I get there.
Yeah. This is more of a general question. I every time
Yeah,
like I go to the stadium too, you know, it's one of those things where it's like the cost of eating, and again, that's every NFL stadium except Atlanta. The
yep,
cost of food is huge. And it's for a family, you know, I have 5 kids, so for me to take my kids and go to a game, you know, we went to that Detroit game, I think the tickets alone were 1,800. And then, you know, of course, you know, you're going to eat something there, so it's not really a
right.
complaint. It's more of that's the modern day NFL. Things have changed. You know, I remember, and part of this I was building into is, you know, being out at I have friends who had worked out at Winter Park, and that place was a dump. I mean, half the time they didn't have the whirlpool tub. You know, they had no real whirlpool tubs, so they had these kind of steel whatevers.
Yeah,
You know, the air conditioning wouldn't work half the time. I mean, the water wasn't good. That Viking ship in the front was falling in. I mean, there were just a lot of things that the like Red McCombs and the other ownership group did so poorly. And so for the Wolves to come in and so thoroughly like take care of business, spend their money when they're like what the fourth or fifth. I don't want to call them poorest owners, but they're the ones with the least amount of financial assets. For them to
yeah,
spend this kind of money is, I think, in light of what's going on with the Twins, I think we can't reinforce enough how good it is to have the Wolves in town.
yes. I mean,
Yeah.
it's from what we've seen today from the Minnesota Twins. As some of you guys know, I'm not a Twins fan, but I feel bad for the Twins
Mm.
fans that have to deal with the Pohlads. So selling the whole team. I mean, not too long ago, you guys won your first playoff game in forever, and now you guys are blowing up the whole team. So it's unfathomable. Easy for me to say, but you know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
How fast things turn around in just a couple years, and you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy. It
Yeah.
really is.
It'd been 18 seasons. 18
Yeah.
seasons since we won a playoff game or a series. Well, a
Hmm.
game and then a series because we were in the
Yeah.
ALCS in 2004. And I don't want to make this a Twins thing, but I know you're a Brewers fan. I mean, I've actually been in the American Family Suite at American Family Field.
Miller
Uh,
Park.
yeah, sorry, American Family
I always
Park.
call it Miller Park. Yeah.
Well, it's Miller Park, American Family Field, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll tell you, you know, there's nothing. Again, I don't want to make this a Brewers Twins thing, but there's nothing like as far as the building, there's nothing that you walk into that stadium and you go, "Wow, this is impressive." I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's the sausage race. My friend was one of the first outsiders to win the sausage race.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah, he was so excited. He ran. It was 100 degrees that day, and he was running like his hair was on fire, and I thought he was
Yeah.
going to die because it was hot in those things,
Oh my God,
Um,
yeah.
but just to see, and I predicted this a couple of years ago when the Twins when they were changing their TV contract, they cut $30 million, and now they're just bailing on all this salary. And to see what they've done to the fans, the Polads, after him, Carl Polad, and your former owner Bud Selig tried to rear end the Twins out of town. That was a whole deal, and the one guy that had to benefit from that was Bud Selig, really, because he had the one game in Milwaukee, and that would have been huge for the Twins to be gone. And Carl Polad was complicit because he wanted the Twins, he wanted the money. He was going to
Yeah.
quadruple or whatever his investment, and I'm worried about the future of the Twins. I don't think about them leaving, but what are we going to? I mean, they can't even get 30,000 people consistently in that stadium. I mean, they're clocking less fans than teams like the Rockies who are going to lose 100 games.
Well,
So it's like,
it's crazy because like you talk about having the fans consistently. The only time that you're ever gonna get half a stadium full or more is when you have those laser shows at the end of the game or fireworks or something that's not Twins related. You're gonna have something else that's like more family related, I guess, if you want to
yeah,
put it that way. But it's crazy that way too because there's no light at the end of the tunnel for the Twins in the next year, couple years, whatever it is. So unless something
yeah,
really turns around, wink, wink, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, the Poled's selling the team, nothing's really gonna happen.
yeah.
Just kind of standing outside looking in on this.
Yeah. Well, people, and this is the thing. I met Glenn Taylor before. He's from about 15 miles north of where I work. He's from Comfrey, Minnesota. Gives a lot to the community, all of southern Minnesota, and people gave him a lot of shit for the way he ran the Wolves. They're one of the teams. I think the second highest luxury tax in the NBA this last year between him and the new ownership group. I mean, he will spend money. He's misguided at times, but I would love to see him, even at his age, buy the Twins and figure out a succession plan. Because at this point, it's frustrating to see a team like the Vikings who always spend, and they're my number ones. But to
Yep.
see them always spend and not get rewarded just because of fluky stuff, and then to see the Twins who, through poor bad management, get lucky a couple years and win stuff. I mean, I again not begrudging the Twins, but it's frustrating me to see the Twins get by with this fan base, and the Vikings are bending over backwards, literally buying tickets at other arenas to send people to the game. I
Yeah.
mean, who does that? And this
Right.
isn't supposed to be a Wolf suck up session, but I mean, come on, it's just
I know.
ridiculous.
They're just polar opposites.
Yeah,
That's what it is. Yeah.
yeah. So let me ask you this, and thanks again for coming on.
Oh yeah.
You got great
Anytime.
stuff, man. You
You
do
gotta get
great
me on
stuff.
here more.
I know. Listen, I'm trying to come up with a regular rotation this year in the podcast. We'll be doing a live podcast on YouTube from Dublin,
Okay.
out of an Irish pub. We got
Ooh.
that planned. Yeah, we're going to go to Dublin and then end up in London the next week. So we're staying for both games.
Okay.
I have 5 or 6 ESPN.com or athletic reporters that are going to come on to preview games the Thursday before games for the podcast. So we have some good things going. But
Look at
to me,
you.
I liked a lot of the local stuff too, and that's part of that's part of what I like about you and Leighton and Marissa. That whole group is that it's people. We're not making $1 billion doing this. We just love this team.
Yep.
What motivates you to do what you do?
I always tell people it's not about the money. I mean, money would be nice. If I could do this full time, I would obviously.
Yeah,
But the fact that I make little to no money doing what I do, I mean,
right,
and I still pump out content. It's just really my love for the Vikings, and that's
right,
the whole reason why I moved to Minnesota from Wisconsin is to pipeline or pipe dream kind of get a job with the Vikings, but we know that that's kind of near impossible at this current moment. But just kind of be closer to the Vikings, kind of do what
right,
I've been doing, training camp, go to games, just what I can do to be closer with the Vikings and
yeah,
interact and players, stuff like that. So Yeah, that's really all it is just the love and the fandom and everything for
Yeah.
the Minnesota Vikings and supporting them in any way possible.
Right. Well, if it was based on effort, you'd make $1 million. I mean, you put a lot of
Yeah,
time and effort into it. All you folks do, and
could be a little
like I
more.
said, I appreciate you taking the time to do it. And I've been blessed in life to be able to do some things with this that I think a lot of people haven't. And me working at the stadium was very simply, I love this team. I want to be at US Bank Stadium for the first game, and it sort of evolved from there. I mean, I will never get rich doing that job.
No,
That was never the
that's
goal.
fair.
I'm the guy that drives 5 hours round trip to work
Hmm.
for $100. I mean, I'd lost money there. In fact, I had a coworker say that. He goes, I did the math on you traveling. You must lose money. And I'm like, first off, mind your business. Like nobody
Yeah.
asked you for that.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, again, if it was about the money, I wouldn't do any of this stuff. I do it. I mean, going to Europe for football is ridiculous.
Like
It's
when I
ridiculous.
lived farther from the cities about a year or so ago, I would drive up to US Bank Stadium and I would work there for a day or two out of the week, and people would look at me nuts, be like, "You're driving an hour for this?" I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
I love doing this. This is
Yeah.
great." So now
Right.
that I'm a lot closer, I can do it full time now. It's a good time. So I
Yeah.
really like doing it, obviously.
My kids will never admit it, but they are very lucky. I mean, if I was a kid, and my kids have been on the turf at US Bank Stadium since they were little guys and gals, and I
Hmm.
don't think they truly appreciate. Like we're standing on the sideline the other day watching practice, and my 9-year-old's like, "Dad, it's so hot. Can we go?" I go, "Dude, I think you take for granted that
Yep.
this is something that not everyone gets to do." And so I have to remind them sometimes because they think that's oh, we're going to, they have a movie on the field at US Bank Stadium for Christmas. We're going to that. Oh God, are we going? It's like, are you kidding me? Like you
I
get a
know.
chance to dick around. You get a chance to be on an NFL field.
Uh, like
It's
yeah,
yeah, I know.
at that age,
Yeah,
it's like they
I
don't really
know.
realize.
My parents
So
just, they were so wrapped up, and I love my mom and dad, but they were really wrapped up in making a living, and when you're not working, you should be working, and I'm just kind of the opposite. I work to help fund the fun things that I do,
yep.
and so that's really part of where this podcast and everything came from. Question for you. To kind
Yes.
of reroute back to Vikings. Not that this isn't great. I mean, I think you and I, when we get together, it could be days. But
Oh yeah.
who is the most annoying fan base, even in the preseason, and why is it the Detroit Lions fans base?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, when you don't have really anything to really show for what you've been doing, and then you finally become good after so many years of just sucking, and I
Yeah,
guess that's the best way to put it. I mean, what else can you do? I mean,
yeah,
I can't say that we wouldn't be the same if we were in that position, because it's kind of hard when you win the division title, 2 years in a row, where the Vikings haven't done that since what the late 2000s. So,
yeah,
with that being said, hopefully we can regain the North again. But the Lions, they've overtaken the Packers, and the Packers have, I never thought I'd be saying this, but tolerable now, uh,
yeah.
because they haven't won the division. They haven't been necessarily that great or good to be talking all the crap that they do. But Bears, they are what they are. They're little peons of the
Mm,
NFC North. Used to be the Lions for so long. Now, until you take them down, you can't really talk too much crap about them. But
right,
uh, it I don't know. It's kind of is what it is. You're the dogs
right,
until you're not. So
right.
that's just
Yeah.
kind of my take on it.
Yeah, they're a pain in the ass, to be honest.
Yeah.
And like I was the first year, I was all about giving them their roses, because it's, hey,
Yep.
little engine that could. It's nice to see you're not so stumpy anymore. And now it's like this morning I'm listening to them like, oh, we're the best team that ever happened, and who cares that we don't have our coordinators, and Jared Goff's ready to take the next step at 30, and it's like.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I can't do this another season. I don't wish ill will on any team. But I think that team is going to win maybe 9 or 10 games this year. I think it's going to be a struggle. I think that offensive line, if it gets pushed up the middle, specifically where we're at now, Goff has trouble, lots of trouble when he has to handle pressure. They're playing a really tough. Have you looked at their schedule? I mean, it is brutal,
I have not
brutal.
yet, but
Yeah,
yeah, you
dude,
get a
it's
first place schedule. That's what
Yeah,
it
it
is.
it's rough, and you know this is the other thing with like Bears fans, because I get into it with I try not to get into it, but I do get into it a little bit because I'm sorry, my friend Michael Oliver, who follows the pod and is on my TikTok, that's the Bear Down guy.
Uh-huh.
He's the most realistic Bears fan I ever met. Like he said last
Okay.
year, Caleb will struggle. He needs a year or two to get whatever. He's very cool about that. But most Bears fans that I run into are so clueless. It's like they wake up in the spring and are like, "Oh my gosh, we were great last year." It's like, no, you
No,
sucked
you weren't.
again. Um, and it is nice to have kind of the upper hand in a way on the Packers. And
Mhm.
I'm going to do my preseason prediction because I always do predictions before training camp's over. I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers end up in last place this year.
I've said the same thing too. I mean, I feel like any of us could really be first. Any of us could really be last. I
Yeah,
mean, it's a mixed bag, honestly. So, I think if I really had to like put some money on it right now, I would probably say, I mean, it's gonna sound biased, but Vikings, Lions, Packers, Bears. I mean, we're
yeah,
all gonna be in a tight knit race here. I mean, I'm not
right,
gonna say Vikings 12-4, Lions 9-8, and then everybody else.
yeah,
It's not gonna be that
yeah,
big of a gap. It's gonna be close as hell. So, uh, I think we're in for a ride. I think we're pretty lucky to have a pretty good division. I
right,
think the next best division is what, the AFC West, maybe.
right,
So outside
yeah,
of that, we could be the AFC South and just be entire just crap hole, outside of the
yeah,
Texans. But
yeah.
it's nice to have a good division for once.
I predicted last year that the Vikings would win 10 games, and they blasted that. I guess I maybe underestimated the stinkiness, you might call it, of the AFC South. There was a Packer reporter the other day saying, you have to put the Packers' losses last year in perspective in the division. They lost, what was it, 6 games overall by a score or less, or 3 points or less. And I said, okay, if you want perspective, the Packers had 4 wins against the AFC South that went 23-45. I mean, if you want, let's be honest, if you want perspective, I think this year playing the AFC North, I don't know if we have to peel back 4 wins, but I think it's realistic to peel back a couple wins because
Yeah,
even though the Vikings are fortunate enough to have Cincinnati and Baltimore at home, and the Steelers in Cleveland overseas, they're still quality teams. They're still teams with mostly competent, well, totally competent and then sort of competent quarterbacking play. Um,
hmm
so I guess my point there is, I think right now, first blush, I was saying 11, 12 wins for the Vikings. They're worried about J.J. McCarthy. I don't worry about J.J. McCarthy because so much of quarterback play is mental.
hmm
And he just, my God, if you talk to him
he's
on the
got it.
street, would you say he's a 22-year-old? That blows me away. The way he processes stuff, he's like a mini KOC.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah,
that's what KOC wanted, was a miniature version of him, and I
yeah,
think that's what really helps out the offense too. Is you got to have a smart quarterback. I think that's what Kevin O'Connell has looked for. I mean, that's why he traded for Josh Dobbs. Now,
yeah,
you can say what you want about Josh Dobbs, but he's a really smart quarterback. Kirk
yeah,
was a really smart quarterback. Hopefully, JJ is that smart quarterback. Darnold, I think decision making can be questionable from him, but I think overall he's made some pretty good decisions this past year. But I think it was Warren Sharp that stated that he had the most turnover worthy plays last year, which whatever, I
yeah,
don't know what all that would entail, but outside of
right,
that, he's also the reason why we won 14
sure,
games and
yeah,
lost. He's also the reason why we lost 4 of those. So
yeah,
it is what it is. I think JJ will be pretty good. I don't think he'll be Mahomes, Josh Allen to start out right out of the gate. I think he'll be pretty average first couple weeks. Uh,
mm,
by mid-season, I think he'll be probably your top. I'll say 15 to 12 quarterback, maybe. I mean,
yeah,
it's hard to be bad with the weapons that you got. Jefferson,
yeah,
Addison, good run game. Hawkinson, great offensive line. So,
yeah.
barren injury, he'll be pretty good.
Are you, on a scale from 1 to 10, how nervous are you about JJ's hamstring?
Hamstring or knee?
Well, not, sorry,
Oh,
um,
oh, Jets.
Justin Jefferson. Sorry, the other
Jets.
JJ, Jets.
Okay.
They call him Jets now, right? Jets. How
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson? How nervous are you about his hamstring?
Not at all. Not at all. I think it was a pretty mild one where it's just kind of, hey, it's training camp. You've been here before. You know how all this goes. Yes, we would like you to work with our rookie quarterback, but you're still Justin Jefferson. You're still going to make plays.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I think he'll be ready to go week one. I think if he really wanted to, he could practice this upcoming week or do joint practices. But, to be smart, I think they'll hold him out till week one.
Do you think that the Addison situation with him possibly getting suspended, if he can keep himself clean the next couple of years, do you think the Vikings try to keep him around?
See, that would be tough. That's a certain scenario where it's kind of tough to pull the trigger on that. But as of right now in this current case, keeping up how he's been doing, I think he's a possible trade candidate. And usually I'm pretty opposed to trading really good players of ours. A couple of years ago, Danielle Hunter, Harrison Smith a couple of years ago. I know that's been kind of chirping around too. But Addison, I really wouldn't mind being traded. Depends on what we would trade for, with Addison. But I'm just like anybody else. I would love to keep Addison on our team. Great number, probably one of the better number 2 receivers in the NFL. But it's really off the field that has troubled him. And I think I don't know what his scouting report was, with the off the field things, if he's had issues like that before. But I don't know, to have what he's been doing, especially last year, the whole DUI or whatever he had, especially after Kyrie Jackson's situation. It's kind of like, hey man, wake up, what are you doing? That kind of thing. So I don't know. Hopefully he learns from that, and I don't know. We'll see how the Addison situation goes in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and I think I totally agree with that. I know one of the things with the Wilfs, they kind of learned a big lesson about some of that off the field stuff with Adrian Peterson. They tried to kind of push through that. Well, we're going to wait to get all the facts, and then the facts were terrible. And sponsors, it came down to sponsors saying, he hit his kid in the nuts with a stick. We really can't keep sponsoring him, de facto you guys. And so that kind of pushed him. And I kind of feel like the Wilfs, and again, this is apples and avocados. I mean, Addison's being accused of not really crime against people, more just him making bad decisions. And I'm not excusing it. I mean, the DUI type stuff is icky. And, the Vikings have a security force that prevents people. Anyways, so that it's not good, but it's not the same thing either. And so I think if he has another event, the Vikings probably, I don't know if they would trade or cut him. It would depend what the event is. I just hope he can keep himself clean, because I feel like he'd be a number 1 receiver on a lot of teams. Maybe not in our division, because our division has wonderful number 1s. But in a lot of divisions, maybe the Packers. That would be the only one, right? I mean, they have 5 number 1s.
That, but yeah.
A collection of bums. Did you see what I posted on TikTok about that Golden fellow?
I think I scrolled by it.
They gave him a thing and said a map, and they said find Green Bay on the map, and he puts Green Bay in Ohio.
Oh no!
And then they said, what motivates you to come to Green Bay? I want to win the Lambeau Trophy. He says.
The Lambeau Trophy. Yeah, Interesting. Very smart
so
fella, huh?
Yeah. I had AI mock up a trophy called the Lambeau Trophy, which had the Lombardi coming out of a picture of Lambeau. And Packer fans, of course, he doesn't have to be smart. He's just going to catch passes.
Oh, yeah,
and I'm like, in that LaFleur offense, it's a KOC-esque offense. You got to be smart. You have to know your routes. And I think that was part of the reason Jair didn't work over there, is because he was mostly idiot, and they got tired of mostly idiot. Do you plan to do, or have you done a prediction as far as, do you do predictions as far as like how the team will end up, how the division will end up? When do you do that? Or I don't think you've done that yet. Have you laid that out, or have you laid that out already?
Maybe not publicly on Twitter, but I think I've done some similar on my podcast. Those of you that don't know, 612 Vikings is my podcast. I do that with Skull TV or Drew. I think we've kind of laid out our schedule predictions. I don't think we've done NFC North standings or any other standings yet, but I kind of like to do that, right before the season starts, because sometimes we get major injuries.
Yeah.
Like JJ last year, who knows if he would have started or not? That would have kind of impacted how we view the schedule. Going way back to like the COVID year when all these key players would opt out of their contracts for the year for COVID. That kind of altered and made the season all weird again.
Yeah.
So I like to kind of wait, maybe a week or two before week one before I make the schedule, real schedule predictions. Kind of go week by week. After the year's done, who knows? The Ravens could have 5 wins the whole year. There's a team that's going to be really good that used to be fourth, from worst to first in their division. There's teams that we thought are going to be good that are going to drop down. Maybe the Lions. So other than that, I do like making predictions. Don't get me wrong. So yeah.
See, I'm the guy that does it before the end of preseason because, then it's like, well, why did you do that? Well, let's see. The reason I did it is because when someone tore their knee on another team in the 3rd week of preseason, I can't predict that. And then I can, I'm sort of off the hook. That just, that's an old Adam Rank trick because he does them like in June or May.
Oh, no.
And they're annoying. And I tell Adam Rank that when I chat with him, like, dude, you're killing me with this Viking 8 and 9 thing. Like, stop that. Because he goes, I'm really high on JJ. He said that last year. I'm really high on JJ. And I go, dude, these people that predict the Vikings to lose 12 or 13 games, just go into Twitter or X, whatever people want to call it, and just go through what this Viking defense is doing. Like, you thought it was good last year? Because I said last year, there's no way they're losing 10 games, regardless of what Darnold's like. This team, with that defense, if it stays healthy, is going to win 10, 12, 13 games. And guess what happens? That defense, the thing is that defense travels.
Mm-hmm.
It's cold, it's hot, it's wet, it's whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter because you have the guys. And now I feel like the last couple of years, Flo's been playing with like a bucket of nuts and a pack of Wrigley's. Now he's got his guys up front that can play that. How are you feeling about Dallas Turner? Let's talk a little bit about Dallas Turner because he looks bigger.
Yeah.
And the stuff I've seen, the practice video, he looks fast. Not that he isn't, but he looks really, really fast.
Yeah. He's gained a lot of muscle, gained some weight, whatever you want to call it. Still looks fast. I think a lot of people, when they complained last year about his playing time, look who he was behind. Near all pro Jonathan Grenard, near all pro Andrew Van Ginkel. You had Pat Jones, which played pretty well. So as a rookie coming in, I don't think you're going to be really put into that mix all too often. Had a sack in that first game against the Giants, one against the Bears later in the season, but I think he's going to play that Pat Jones role a little more this year. With Pat Jones gone, I think he went to the Panthers, but as we recall, Pat Jones played a lot last year in that rotation with Grenard and Van Ginkel. So Turner, he's going to play a lot more this year, that's for sure. Kind of seeing him in training camp too. There is one play that has stuck out to me that I think it is first team versus first team. So O'Neal and Will Fries were both on a double team against Dallas Turner. And Dallas Turner, I think the same play where Javon Hargrave was pushing back to get a sack on McCarthy, Dallas Turner had the same amount of push against a double team. So if that's it, against O'Neal and Will Fries, that's not an easy task.
Correct.
So I think Dallas Turner is just going to be a beast, unleash the beast, throughout the season. Brian Flores definitely has a plan for him. He's in coverage a little more too for Dallas Turner. So was Andrew Van Ginkel too. But in that 3-4 system, that's what you're going to do. You're going to pass rush, be off the ball, stuff like that. So other than that, long story short, Dallas Turner unleashed the beast.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's great. Last year I had made a little prediction for this next year. I said, say what you want with Cam Bynum leaving. After Bynum left, I said, don't be shocked if we see almost a hybrid Dallas Turner where he ends up in a safety-ish spot, safety linebacker. Because they did drop him back a couple times, and there were a few times he got burned, and then he got that interception out in Seattle. Fun fact, Dallas Turner runs a faster 40 than Josh Metellus. For those of people that he does, for those that want to know. And Dallas Turner is a giant man.
By how much?
Giant man. What's that?
By how much?
It was what was it, like a second or two? I mean, it was
Oh,
considerable.
okay.
It was, he was
Okay.
faster. Yeah, he wasn't just like a
Wow.
tenth of a second. He was faster. And when
And
I
that
talked to,
matters.
well, and here's for a big guy. I mean, if you can get a big guy just to do that occasionally, like they see Dallas Turner come in, okay, this is our time to throw with a line with a tight end coming across the middle. Okay, cool,
Hmm.
whatever. They do that, and I think that's the beauty of Flores is just his ability to find the guys that fit in there. I mean, a guy like Ivan Pace, who when he was brought in, you thought, oh, this guy, he'll be a good special teamer. They'll bring him in on third downs to rush here or there. And now, when last year when Ivan Pace was out, you were like, boy, this defense is missing a part. Um, so what? I'll kind of wrap up with this because I don't. You've been gracious to give me about an hour here. Of the rookies that are in camp, and I'll throw out like Kobe King or
Hmm.
I guess probably what was it, Zemiah Wright. Name some rookies that you think could have an impact, whether special teams or just getting into the game to make a difference. I mean, these undrafted guys they find, is that kind of amazing?
Yeah, I mean, starting with Ivan Pace, I mean, a couple of years ago, he's been an amazing find. Uh, Last year, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Jalen Redmond, maybe.
Yeah,
He's been a standout. I think this year, uh, one that should be on your radar is Jeremiah Vaughn, the cornerback, number 34 for the Vikings. Big, lengthy guy, which in a Brian Flores system, that's gonna be key. And he's made some really good plays throughout this camp. Made a really good play. I think it was against Jordan Addison on a go route on the sideline. So he's been very sticky. I mean, like I've said before, there's going to be corners that they get beat.
yeah,
They run the route for their wide receivers. You get a mixed bag of that. So Jeremiah Vaughn looks like he could be a starter out there.
yeah.
And I'm not a coach. I can't really make that decision, obviously. But for a guy that's undrafted, he's got the smarts. He's got the talent.
Yeah.
Long, lengthy, big. You know, I think he's gonna be really good. I think he makes the 53-man roster, honestly.
Yeah.
In a pretty good, I don't want to say stacked, but it's a pretty deep cornerback room. I think. You
Does
got
it? Yeah.
you got Byron Murphy, you got Isaiah Rogers, Blackman, a couple other guys in there too that you can kind of mix around. But I think Jeremiah Vaughn will. I think he'll make the roster.
Does it matter who the third tight end is?
I know KLC likes to run a lot of like jumbo sets out there, with Hawkinson, Oliver, um, but
Was Johnny Munt? Yeah.
yeah, Munt was out there quite a bit last year because of Hawk's injury, but
Yeah.
uh, I think Gavin Bartholomew, I haven't really seen too many big highlight plays out of him, honestly,
Yeah.
throughout camp,
Well, I
but
think he on the pup right now. I think he's on the pup.
he might be. I think that's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
But Ben Urasek, dude, he making very, very clutch red zone grabs, I guess, tight
Yeah.
contested grabs. Ben Urasek, I think he might make the roster if Bartholomew is not ready to go quite yet.
Yeah.
So I think the tight end group looks pretty solid, I think. Pretty
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah, one of the things when they first signed Josh Oliver, I hadn't done a lot of research on him. And the longer he's been here, I felt like last year people asked, why didn't Hawkinson go back to what he was? I don't think it was an issue of Hawkinson not being good. I think it was an issue of you don't dare take Josh Oliver off the field because he's an incredible blocker and he's got great hands. I mean, that guy blocks like a devil on fire. I mean, he is so good at blocking that I think it came down to Hawk probably wasn't 100%. And how do you pull Josh Oliver off the field? Is that a crazy take?
No, I don't think that is. I think there's a little bit of maybe Hawkinson wasn't. I don't want to say ready to play yet, but
Yeah.
coming off a serious leg injury, you're not super confident in what you're doing with your knees and juking and all that stuff, running routes. But I mean, per Hawkinson, he's been faster, stronger than he was before the injury. So take that
Yeah.
as what you will. But a guy like Oliver, he could be a tight end one for maybe a few of these teams. Really, I mean, he has
Yeah.
really good hands. Ball handling, I think, is a little questionable. We saw that a couple years ago. I think it was a fumble against the Chiefs, I want to say. I think it
Yeah.
was like the first play or two that the ball got knocked out. But other than that, great